Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Sarottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayantu Vidaye Nashtatraye Shobhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Naishiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Question by the Sages, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 2. Dharma projita gaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam Vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam Tattvatrayon bhulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Paredishwara Sadyo Vidya Varudyate Yatra Kritivihi Sushushruvi Sakshana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. This Bhagavad Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion, for the welfare of all. Such truth approves the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. Purport: Religion includes four primary subjects, namely pious activities, economic development, satisfaction of the senses, and finally liberation from material bondage. Irreligious life is a part. Indeed, human life begins when religion begins. Eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating are the four principles of animal life. These are common both to animals and to human beings. But religion is the extra function of the human being. Without religion, human life is no better than animal life. Therefore, in human societies, there is some form of religion which aims at self-realization and which makes reference to man's eternal relationship with God. In the lower stages of human civilization, there is always competition to lord it over. This purport is very long.
We do a paragraph and then
There is some form of religion which aims at self-realization and makes reference to man's eternal relationship with God. In the lower stages of human civilization, there is always competition to lord it over the material nature, or in other words, there is a continuous rivalry to satisfy the senses. Driven by such consciousness, man turns to religion. He thus performs pious activities or religious functions in order to gain something material. But if such material gains are obtainable in other ways, then so-called religion is neglected. This is the situation in modern civilization. Man is thriving economically, so at present he is not very interested in religion. Churches, mosques, or temples are now practically vacant. Men are more interested in factories, shops, and cinemas than in religious places which were erected by their forefathers. This practically proves that religion is performed for some economic gains. Economic gains are needed for sense gratification. Often when one is baffled in the pursuit of sense gratification, he takes to salvation and tries to become one with the Supreme Lord. Consequently, all these states are simply different types of sense gratification. So on and so forth. It's a long purport. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Shlakaya Chakshurumipamya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Guruvani Prasharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. A very famous shloka often quoted by Prabhupada. Kaitava means cheating. Dharma projita kaitava means setting aside materialistic cheating religions and focusing on what is the truth. The first shloka Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur spoke for, I heard from 3 months in the first shloka. I went to the place in Dhaka in Bangladesh where he spoke there. In Gaudiya Math. Because it establishes the absolute truth. Janmadhyasya, from whom everything comes. And the name is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then Janmadhyasya Anmayalitaratacharte Shuriknyasvararteni Brahmapadeyadikave ends with Satyam Param Dhimahi. A personalized description of the absolute truth. The Bhagavatam, if you read the introduction, Prabhupada will say, the conception of God is different from the conception of absolute truth. And he will say that Bhagavatam hits at the absolute truth. This is something we need to understand. Krishna is the absolute truth. Prabhupada presenting it, this is Bhagavatam. It's very amazing. It took me a very long time to get the understanding of this. And I was very thrilled when I actually read, this is what Prabhupada is trying to tell in the introduction. Conception of God and absolute truth, 2 different things. And then Prabhupada will say, the absolute truth is a person. He is Krishna. Full stop, that's all. That is the real religion. Connecting with the supreme absolute truth, Krishna, in love, in bhakti, in your eternal relationship. That is real religion. Everything else apart from that, that is relativized, is Kaitava Dharma. However good it may be about your mother and father and your affection for that, and there's another religion like that. And there may be demigods and devatas and so many things. They are all relativized. And whatever you do in the relative domain is useless. It's not going to help you. This is Bhagavatam's standpoint. That starts with the Janmadhyasya Anmayadikartachate Shuriknyasvara. That is why the absolute truth has to be worshipped. Otherwise, you are gone. You do not do what you are supposed to do in the human form of life. So if you go to 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what is the title? What is the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita title?
Knowledge of the Absolute.
Good. Knowledge of the Absolute. Prabhupada has used very correct words. There Krishna will speak about demigods in a relativized way. He says if you worship the demigods, you are not very intelligent. You read that? Alpamedasha. Men of low intelligence worship the demigods. And then in the same purports you will see about Mayavad. You will see all relativization condemned and absolute upheld. Mattah parakaram nanyat kinchadasti dhananjaya. There is no truth about me. I am the basis for everything. This has to be understood. Then only you can actually start understanding who is God. God is supreme absolute truth who stands very far away from all this relativization. In the relative world, like you and me. Like you and me. Prabhupada gives the example saying that in the prison house, sometimes a good prisoner becomes the warden in the prison. It's still a prisoner, but he's given a position. He said they are demigods. It's not anything different. It's a very amazing example here. He said they are a very good prisoner, right? You don't try to escape. And so you're rewarded with, because they have trust and faith in you, you're rewarded with being a warden. You put in charge of other prisoners. That's all that's happened to you. Right? In the relative world, you're a very good relative factor. So you're promoted inside the prison. You do not go past the relativization. So you must understand, worshipping the Supreme Absolute Truth, even a little bit, is considered to be a great step. Swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. So we are not worshipping Krishna as another demigod. Or even though he is not a demigod, on the status of just another god. This was my point. If you look at what is the definition of ISKCON, we will look at the communications ministry's description of who are we. How do you introduce the ISKCON? In the communications ministry's definition, which I argued and I said, yeah, we have to do it this way. Then I understood, okay. In the Western world, you are accused, Hindus are accused of being what? Why they don't like you? Why Christians don't like you? Why Muslims don't like you? Why? Huh? Idol worship. One thing, yes.
Followers of many gods.
There is no clarity on who God is.
There is no clarity on who God is. You said it.
Followers of many gods.
Polytheistic guys. They worship many gods and they never tell you who's really God. All sorts of people worship. Then there are other guys who say, forget God, I am God. These are all very common in Hinduism. I am God. I worship this God. He is the Supreme. And you are also worshipping another God. You chose Krishna. Out of the 33 crores, you have chosen Krishna. That's okay, fine, I come here. Many people coming here are coming like that. It's a huge difference between what the Bhagavatam is saying and what that's saying. So you'll see our definition is, you know what? What's written? Who are we? Who are we? Have you read it? It says, ISKCON is a monotheistic Vaishnava tradition. So I said that we are not monotheists. We are absolutist people. We are not chosen one of the many gods. Then I said that even somebody who thinks that I am a Ganesh worshipper, I worship only Ganapati. So then there are many people like that. He is also monotheistic. He is chosen one out of the many. And all those are nothing for me, only Ganesh. He is also monotheistic. So I am not just another monotheistic person. This is what the Bhagavatam is saying. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tattatrayom muganam. Very technical definition of what you should be doing and who Krishna is, who is God. Very interesting. So, we are not just a monotheistic tradition, although we need to say that to set ourselves apart from the polytheistic tradition. Don't tell them, we are not like these guys. The Hindus worshiping temples of gods. We worship only Krishna. And why we do that? He is the absolute truth. That is the meaning of translation property is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ahamadihi Devana. I am the source of all the gods. Forget it. I am not another god. Aham Adihi Devana. I am the source of all gods. So when we say we are worshippers of Krishna, don't take it lightly. It means we are worshippers of the absolute truth. We are absolutists in our philosophy. That's why people don't like you. Anything absolutist, the scientific world will never like. Don't make this absolute statements, I don't like it. Right? So religion is a lot seen as people who make absolutist, faith-based statements. With no proof, no reason, nothing like that. But we are not like that. We have got, if you read Bhagavatam, it scientifically explains why you should put all your faith and investment in the absolute truth. The first few chapters simply explain that. establishing. It's so beautiful, the Bhagavad, so paka in understanding who is God and gives a nice reason. So faith in the absolute truth cannot be seen as unreasonable. It is educated faith. It is faith with science. On that basis, you can understand who is Krishna. Therefore, relativizing every other form of faith. Every other form of faith is relativized in front of the absolute truth. That's the meaning of dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirvatsaranam satam. That's the first statement in the first sloka. The next sloka is saying, therefore, all these false religions should be kicked out. You should worship only Krishna. Somebody will say, you guys are fanatic. There is only one God. Yeah, you can say that in common parlance. You can use the word fanatic. But fanatic means something else. Fanatic means what you guys are doing inside that religion of yours. I am Hindu, I am Muslim. We don't say that. You'll see Prabhupada went all over the world, whether you're Hindu, Muslim, Christian, nothing, it does not matter. You should worship Krishna. This is that's why I was telling yesterday, we are not another religion. In Fiji, you should tell them, we are not Hindu. We are not Hindu, Bandhu, Jandu, none of those things. We are worshippers of the absolute truth. This is the first thing, many devotees don't understand that like that. We are worshippers of the absolute truth, and Krishna is saying that in Bhagavad Gita. There is no truth about me. Don't look at me in a relative way. I am the only truth. Everything comes from me. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva jite ma buddha bhava samandita. If knowing this you worship me, you are intelligent. So we must knowingly worship. That's the meaning of Krishna saying, Janma karma chame divyam evam yogeti tatvatah. In Janmashtami we say, I was just giving a class in Phoenix, in America, in Phoenix, they told me all of a sudden, speak on Janmashtami. A few days later is Janmashtami. I said, no. And then I said that we are actually Janmashtami celebration of the appearance of the absolute truth in the relative realm. And I told him that this is why we are celebrating Janmashtami. Because Krishna is said, difficult for you to understand my appearance inside the relative world. Janma, karma, Samedegam, evam yo vedi tatvatara. If you try to understand and you understood, then you have scored it. But you will not understand it. That's why he's making the statement, evam yo vedi tatvatara. If you can understand. Because we are all stung, we are stung by the bug of relativity. Forget Einstein's theory of relativity and all that's different. But we are all in the relative realm and we are stuck in the relative realm. That's why Krishna says, Dvandva Mohina Bharata. The duality illusion has struck you. And you all think in terms of right, wrong, black, white, one, two, this, that, dualities. You can't get into the absolute thinking. It's not so easy. Only if you have the mercy of the Lord through His pure devotee can you get out of that. Mentioned the Prabhupada here. It's not that everybody will be able to understand it. Actually, by chanting Hare Krishna, we are getting to understand that. It's not that because you are working very hard and you read the Bhagavatam. It's because of Krishna facilitating that understanding for you. Why? You are chanting like I told you to Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And on top of that, you are also spreading it. I become increasingly inclined towards you. Why? You are spreading that holy name. You are standing out in the open and saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Right? So Krishna is giving that understanding. It's not because of your hard work and because you are very intelligent that you crack the Bhagavad and the understanding. It's because of devotional service. That's the statement in Bhagavad Gita that Bhaktya Vananya Shakya Hamevam Vidorjuna Yatum Drashtum Chatatvena Praveshtum Chaparantaka. He will not only understand, he will enter into my region. He'll enter into my region. So Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is a person situated in absolute truth. And he walks, talks, everything absolute truth. This is, you must understand. He just keeps saying Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead all over the world. It doesn't matter whether you are American, Australian, or Indian, or Hindu, Jatu, Bantu. Everywhere he will tell Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Chant Krishna's name. Nobody has done this before. He champions the absolute truth always. He, relative evidence, you see these questions, he will answer in terms of the absolute truth. And he will say, why are you not answering the question? But he is answering the question. He is relativizing what you said and saying, see, it's very interesting that the devotees, it seems, went to Prabhupada as disciples and said, we want to, like, including Sasuru Maharaj now, they said, went and said, we want to write your biography. Just see the answer. They said, we want to write about your life history and this thing and all that. Immediately Prabhupada said, what's the need for that? We have mentioned in our books that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what he answers. I mean, you should understand how he is answering. But he is answering, but you will not understand, what answer is that here? Say yes or no. Then again they ask, no, Prabhupada, your life is so nice that when you gave us Krishna consciousness, you came all the way to the Western world, it's amazing, nobody does that and all that. Again he says, what is the need for that? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says that. Then they come down to a different way and say, no, by reading your life, people get inspired to become devotees of Krishna. And then they explain to him how I became by hearing you and what you did. When you were young, you did Ravyatra. When you grew up in such a house, you were a Vaishnava, and all that. People become inspired with your lifestyle and they will become devotees. Then, okay, do it. Then, okay. Connect with the absolute truth, I'll say, okay. If there's some means of connecting from this thing you're saying, I say, okay. But what an answer. When we have told, write the biography or your biography, other people would have said, yes, immediately, produce it in gold. Put this thing, put it on a big pedestal, put my photograph there, I am the absolute truth. The guy is really thinking that I am the absolute truth. But Prabhupada is relativizing himself in front of the absolute truth. So what is the need for that? I have spoken about the absolute truth, Krishna. You must understand. If the promoter of vigorous, aggressive promoter of the absolute truth, no relativization of the absolute truth. This is our philosophy. This is our theology. This is how we understand God. That is why he says, Dharma projita kaitavo atra parmo nirmasara. The Bhagavatam makes bold statements. It looks very rough, brash, and rude at times. Swavit varahoshtrakarai samskruta purushat pashu. It says leaders who don't speak about Krishna and propagate this thing are like dogs, hogs, camels. These are the things written in the Bhagavatam. No sane man will read this actually in the material. This is so heavy on me. It's thrown like that. Why? Relative. You speak about the relative, you get a slap from the Father. You speak about the absolute truth, Krishna, good, you are a devotee. Even if you spoke little, swalpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mavato vaya. Even if you do a little bit of it, I will glorify you. That's why the Bhagavatam makes a statement. Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam hare bhajan apakho atapate tato yadi yatrakva va abhadran abhud amushrikim kovarta apta abhajatam swadharmatah. This is a very controversial statement. It's saying here, somebody gave up his material life. Swadharma he gave up. I have to look after my mother, my father, my wife, my children, everything. He gave it up. In ISKCON only people do these type of things. Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam hari. He went and held on the lotus feet of Krishna. And there also he made a mess. Bhajan apakva atapati tato yadi. There also he did apakva bhajan and fell down from there also. And the Bhagavatam says, so what? He is still very good. Kovartha apto avajatam swadharmatah. Better than somebody who never worshipped the Lord and did all his duties perfectly is to attempt at the absolute truth and fail. Leaving your material duties, attempt at the absolute truth and fail in that also. Means you're a total failure, still you're very good. Better than the fellow who perfectly does all his material duties. Useless fellow. He never approach the absolute. This is the statement of the Bhagavad. That is the meaning of worshipping Krishna. Even once if you say Krishna, Tava Asmiti Cha Uchyate. Ramachandra, Lord Ramachandra said that. He said, Kaschit eva prapanno Tava Asmiti Cha Uchyate Abhayam Sarva Bhutebhyo Dadami Etam Pratam Mama. My vow is even once if you say feelingly, I belong to you, Rama. Tava Asmiti, I am yours. If you say even once, I vow that I will protect you forever. Why? Once you said it. I am the absolute truth, and once you said it, you connected with me. This is the real meaning of yoga. Yoga means you from the relative world reaching out to the absolute. That's called yoga. You are also part and parcel of the absolute. Mama ivam sajiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. You are part and parcel of the absolute truth and you are reaching out to the absolute. You are not merging inside the absolute truth. You are part and parcel of the absolute truth. And you are connecting. That's called yoga. That is why that is real religion. A devotee is doing a real religious activity. Everybody else is AI, artificial. Everything else is AI, artificial religion. Dharma projita kaitevo atra paramo nirmatsarana stam. Vedyam vastavam. What is the truth? Atra vastu shivadam tatpatrayon muranam. If you simply get stuck to the absolute, everything else will happen automatically. The threefold miseries will disappear, you will get out of the three modes. Gradually everything will happen. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim Va Parenishvara. So, Mahamuni means Vyasadeva has written the Srimad Bhagavatam for this purpose. What is the need for any other scripture? What is the need for anything else? Simply Srimad Bhagavatam is enough to clarify everything about religion, everything about God and the supreme scripture. So, Bhagavatam philosophy, Bhagavad philosophy, that's why Prabhupada is called it Bhagavatam. He, walking, talking, moving, is a mobile Bhagavatam. He practices it, he lives it, that is his consciousness, he speaks it. You touch him anywhere and you say Krishna is absolute truth. Immediately you say chant Krishna. And some people think he is a fanatic. No, he is doing the right thing. Boldly. He doesn't care about any of the relative stuff that you do. He is out here to give you the absolute truth. And he is asking all of us simply do that. You simply do. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur will read any article written by saying how many times Krishna has come in that. The word Krishna, it's a very good article. 10 times Krishna has come. Because they are so focused on propounding Krishna and this thing. It's not because of fanaticism. Fanaticism is dogmatic. You don't know why you are saying what you are saying. You don't know why you believe what you believe. You don't have a science behind it. You don't have a purpose behind it. That's a dogma. Science calls religion dogma. Prabhupada is explaining about religion, what religion is. But when we are not dogmatic religious people, you ask me who is Krishna, I will tell you. If you tell me why I worship Krishna, I will tell you. Why I don't worship the demigods, I will tell you. I don't insult the demigods, I respect them very much. More than you worship, I respect them. Because my understanding is understanding the demigods in terms of Krishna. Mine is a complete understanding of the demigods. My worship of demigods is more complete than you. Because you think worshipping the demigod is a be-all and end-all, it's like the absolute truth. You are completely wrong. But my worship, in relation to the absolute, I worship the demigods. That's why people ask me, why it is, the gopis are worshipping Katyayani. The gopis are worshipping Katyayani. And Krishna in the battlefield of this thing, tells Arjuna, take blessings from Durga before the war. He's telling. And Arjuna is descending and bowing down and taking blessing from Bhumi, from Durga, from all the demigods. He is the supreme absolute truth standing. He is telling, you do this. Take her blessings. Why is he saying that? He's showing. It's not that we don't respect the demigod. We respect better than you do worship. And the demigods are very pleased with each one of us paying our obeisances and saying, make me a devotee of Krishna. I said, very good, you really understand who I am. In relation, that's why the Brahma Samhita is very important. You see all the demigods mentioned there in relation to Krishna. Very nicely mentioned. Devi, Ganesha, Shiva, Brahma, everybody is mentioned there in relation to the Supreme. And if you go and chant that, the demigods will be very pleased with you. You really understand who I am and who are you, and your words of prayer are the right prayer. Are the right prayer. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he visited all the demigods' temples, he did Kirtan. He did Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan in all these demigods' temples. And that is the way we worship. They become very pleased with you. You do Harinam Sankirtan. So this way, how to live in the relative world, how to respect those relative symbols, and how to be fixed in the absolute truth. You should know all these things. In the Bhagavatam, you know that. Right? So, religion means worshipping the Supreme Absolute Truth. That's the real religion. Every other religion is allowed by Krishna because you are stuck in the relative. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will say, Yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhaya chitam ichchati tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidatami aham. I am the one sitting in your heart as Super Soul, Paramatma, who will satisfy your desire to fix your mind on some demigod. I only facilitate that from inside the heart because you want it. Isn't this an amazing statement? Krishna is saying, I am absolute truth. Without me, you cannot even worship the demigod. I am the one helping you and fixing your mind on the demigod and giving you facilities to worship the demigod in which you are interested. If not for me, you can't even worship the demigod. What a powerful statement. But you are an idiot. You are a fool. Alpa Medasha. It's okay. That's what you want. You're a stubborn child of mine, so I'm facilitating it. I'm facilitating it. But actually it's better for you to worship me alone. Then you are Dugabhava Samadhita. You are intelligent. So we don't worship Krishna because we are fanatic. We don't worship Krishna because he is one of the many gods we have chosen and we are monotheistic. We worship Krishna because he is the absolute truth. If you worship Krishna, everybody else is worshipped. Yata taror mula nisechanena skandha bhujo pashakaha prano bhara chayatindriyana sarva haranam achyutejya. Very beautiful shloka in the Bhagavad says, just like you pour water at the root of a tree, and the whole tree, the branches, the twigs, the trunk, the leaves, the flowers, the fruits, all of them get nourished. All of them get. You don't separately need to water the branches and the fruits and the tree. You just pour it to the root. In the same way, Sarvabharanam Achyutejya, if you simply worship Achyuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the demigods, all the authorities, everybody will become happy with you. You will become happy with you. This is what we do. We are very intelligent guys. We don't go on worshipping everybody. There's no time for that in the small span of life you have. Just pour water at the root. You worship Krishna, everybody is happy with you. That's all. Period. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Chant. Everybody becomes happy with you because Krishna is happy with you. They are smart worshippers. That's why the Bhagavatam says, Yajanti Sumeridashara. Those who do Harinam Sankirtan and Kali Yuga are intelligent people, not just Medha. Sumedha, very intelligent. Because they're directly pouring water at the root. Period. This is why we worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are not against any religion, any demigod, anybody. Just leave us alone. If you want, we carry on. We are already satisfying all the demigods and everybody by worshipping Krishna. Full stop. Everything is over. We go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, 7 o'clock. No questions to be answered. It's the absolute truth. No relative questions. How come the punchman is not here today? He's delayed.
Is in there.
Any question or comment? I must excuse myself for the very poor example I'm setting by not being in the Mangala. But I'm attending meetings very late. Yesterday I had a meeting with GBC members on a very important topic of which I am a chairman of the committee, so I had to attend. And it went on till 11:30. And after that I had 7 minutes, so I did that also. The doctors advised me to get at least 7 hours and a stretch rest. So there's some medication that I'm taking for some complaints, which I am not able to do. So I just slept through till he came and called me at 5 o'clock. But I will normally do that. I'm under some medication sometimes, so, and also I'm adjusting this timing. Nocturnal. You should go ahead. We are waiting for you, by the way.